Francis Ford Coppola would be rolling over in his grave if you watch this movie. But Jason, he's not dead. Yeah, that's because he hasn't seen this movie yet. This movie has absolutely no idea what it wants to be. It tries to be a haunted house movie. It tries to be a slasher movie. It tries to be a possessed doll movie. It tries to be a home invasion movie. That's like taking the source material for something and changing it so drastically that it's completely unrecognizable. That's like taking Michael Myers and putting him on reality television, or Jason Voorhees and putting him against a girl with telekinetic powers, or putting him in space, or taking Leprechaun and putting him in space, or taking him to the hood, or taking him back to the hood. Wait a minute. I knew I was in trouble when I looked at the IMDb page and the director's only credits before this were directing gay porn. You think I'm kidding? Go look it up. I actually had fairly high hopes for this movie, mostly because I thought the original had a lot of style and it had a lot of good things going on in it. And while I didn't love it, I did enjoy it. And the thing that I thought that they could improve upon drastically here was that I thought that they could put together a coherent plot, because the original gives you just enough of a plot that even though it's not delivered well and it is confusing, it could have been rewritten and restructured and been great. And instead what they did is they took the script, they took elements from it, and they just threw in so much unnecessary shit. I just don't understand the thought process here. I'm all about changing up movies. Like, it's okay to try something different. I didn't have any fun watching this movie. There was literally nothing I could take from this movie that I enjoyed. I thought that the opening showed a little bit of promise, because they did take certain plot elements and they updated them or changed them, enough to where I was like, oh, that's kind of a cool new little spin on it. But how much they change is just unnecessary. And the addition of the haunted house and the dolls and all that is just weird. Like, that's the only word I can really use to explain it. When I was watching it, I was just like, why? And, and I'm guessing anyone who hasn't seen the original would be asking me, is this a good movie if you haven't seen the original? Like, let's completely detach ourselves. And I did try to do that for the most part. I mean, I wanted to be able to come back here and be like, okay, well, here's how it compares to the original, and here it is. Here's how it is as a standalone. And I can tell you that as a remake, it is terrible. As its own film, it is not good. Like, there are some aspects that are okay to where I'm not going to be like, the movie as a whole is just dreadful, because that's just not being fair. Like, there's certain things that are acceptable and decent. So I would, something I would give like a 3 out of 10 to. It's not like the worst film I've ever seen by any means, but man, it is pretty bad. This is not a knock on the film itself, but something I want to talk about really quick. If you look at a side-by-side comparison of the original poster and this new one, oh my God. And that just seems to be a trend that's going on right now, where we just have this cheap, shitty poster art that somebody made on their computer in like 2 minutes versus like hand-drawn art. Like, if you want to put that up on your wall, you want to display it for people to see it because it looks cool, because it's enticing, because it's alluring to the eyes, and it's, and the new ones, the new posters for most movies, you just look at and you're like, okay, like, that says the title. And it just, they're so gross. This new poster can fuck right off. This has some terrible like CGI on the ghosts. Oh, it was bad. I'm not sure what the budget was on this, but it was high enough. The ghost thing didn't need to happen at all, but let's just say that they absolutely needed it to be in here. I don't know. I feel like they could have come up with a much better way to do it than this. Oh my good God. It had a very made-for-TV feeling to it, even though it looked good, it's still, and I blame this on the director, there's just stilted performances, there's bland shots. It just felt very cheap overall. There's like no gore in this movie. There's like one kill they show a little bit of, and another one that's like meh. There is more gore and better kills in the 1963 version. How is that possible? And you could be like, oh, well, maybe it has made for TV, so maybe like they had to tone it down. They say fuck, they say shit. Like, this is R-rated. So where is the gore? You could have taken the money that you used on those shitty, cheap ghost effects and put that money, you know, all $6 of that, into the gore. Or at least come up with interesting kills. And just like the reveal of the killer and how they changed it and the motives and oh my God, what were they thinking? I did not want to bash this film. Like, it started off and I was like, okay, it's cheaper and the acting isn't so great, but they changed little. But God, it just keeps going downhill from there. Oh, gross. This movie is just terrible. I'm sorry. Like, I know I said it was like a 3, and I stick with that, but just the more I'm talking about it, the more annoyed I'm getting. I just don't understand. I literally just am kind of baffled right now with this film. What were you guys thinking with this? You wanted to make it an update? Okay. Why throw in all these elements that don't exist within the original film? I made a joke earlier about it, but seriously, that you're changing the core, the heart of a story. It just, I don't know. It kind of pissed me off, to be honest. So, don't watch this movie, especially if you're a fan of the original. Oh my God, you'll hate it.